Have you been dealing with hip impingement and you're wondering, should I be walking? Is it safe to walk with hip impingement? Well, in this video today, I'm going to cover a few aspects to answer that problem very quickly. If you're looking for stretches and exercises, we have them in other videos that we have on our channel, as well as some of the playlists attached to this video, either in the description or it'll pop up on the screen. Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian at Performance-Based Sports Care, part of the locally world-famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California. If you're looking for actual help moving forward, you can use our channel as a reference, but also there's a webinar that's going to pop up in the corner which answers a lot of questions that people have, but we don't share them on YouTube. Or you can see us in person or virtually. Now, to answer the question about is it safe to walk with hip impingement, the short answer is yes. The more complex answer is probably it depends. And so I'll answer those both in turn today, but generally speaking, it's safe to walk with hip impingement as long as the pain doesn't get worse. Now, I don't know if my camera angle is going to be right for it. It'll work okay for this. Now, what most people tend to find with hip impingement when they start walking is the first few steps are kind of ginger. Okay, that's okay. And usually, as you start to walk further and start to get the length of stride open a little bit, generally things tend to work a little bit better. Normally, I tell people to assess the activity, in this case walking, to see if it's safe by figuring out if when you do a little bit more than the first little bit of it, if it starts to increase or decrease. I'll give you an example. Say in scenario one, someone starts to walk, and as they walk 30 seconds or a minute, or even they start to go further, their pain starts to slowly ramp up. In that case, no, walking may not be the right thing right now. We can almost think of this as a scenario where someone has a hip fracture. If you walked more, would it feel better? No, it'd probably feel worse. Loading progressively through that joint doesn't feel good. In that case, let's not do it. But there'll be a time and place where actually adding load will be helpful. The body will essentially adapt to the load you put at it, but in this scenario, it may not be right now. Now, there's other situations where people, they get up, they start walking, the first 3-4 steps are a little bit iffy, they start walking 30 seconds, it gets a little better, they start walking with a little bit more of a better pace, they swing their arms a little bit, it gets better, and then it goes away. And then if they start walking about 20 minutes, it feels okay, and they start walking 25 minutes, and it starts to decline. In that case, walking's probably okay, and it may hold some therapeutic value. Walking is a very appropriate way to load the sides of the hip, such as the gluteal muscles. It can also help lengthen the hip flexor by the stepping or extending the leg, my normal gait processes. And as you start walking at a better pace, there's a better energy system interplay that happens between the springs of your body. If you walk too slow or you start from stopping, sometimes you have to overcome that energy. Instead, you start going, it's a little bit easier. It's like an ebb and flow that works a little bit better. Now, in that scenario where he got to 25 minutes, it started to become painful, that may be too much too soon. And so in that situation, we don't know what you've been doing or what I've been doing. And for all I know, you haven't walked more than 5 feet in the last 3 months. In that case, 25 minutes may be too far. And so that's an issue with managing load appropriately and progressing your activity. This is why actually working with someone one-on-one is super helpful. I'd love to say that Dr. Google and Dr. YouTube have all the answers, but they don't. Every video that we make, at least on YouTube, we try to put some context to. Situation A, this happens and this may get worse, so don't do it. But situation B, this may happen, so go ahead and do it. And it provides a wishy-washy answer to a very seemingly simple question, is it okay to walk with hip impingement? But the answer is always depends. It depends on what you're like, and I can make an appropriate suggestion based upon what I hear and what I see. Using an assessment to figure out if walking is safe is really important, and a thorough physical assessment completely outweighs, for the most part, most people's images and x-rays. We treat the person in front of us, not the image that we see, although it's good information. Okay? So if you want to know for sure if walking is safe for you, you need to be thoroughly assessed and you need to have someone take control of your medical situation. For all we know, you have a hip fracture and you shouldn't be walking at all. In that case, like you looked on YouTube and it said the wrong thing. So this is not medical advice to you, but I do think everybody, including myself and my family, needs to make sure they are thoroughly physically assessed to figure out what to do with them. The assessment tells us what to do. We don't guess, we assess. And I say that in most of the videos that we do now because these videos are very helpful, I'm sure to a lot of people, but assessing to figure out what to do is very helpful too. So walking is helpful for most people, but for some people it won't be. Now, if you guys have more questions, click on the free webinar that we have that comes up in the corner, which covers a lot of the information we don't cover on YouTube. We also have books and other resources available. Everything's in the link description below. But if you want to work with us virtually or in person, we're in Costa Mesa, California. Some people come and fly in and go to Disneyland or the beach. They have an assessment performed and we can figure out what to do with them at that point. So we'd love to work with you. We specialize in hips, groins, sports hernias, low back sciaticas, and all the stuff in the lower quarter. And so we would love to sort out what you have and what you don't have and then figure out what to do with you and help you get back into an active lifestyle. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.